Well, it's the first day of the week. Well, it is for me anyway. Sunday, I call that the first day of the week. Thought I'd do a video here and just talk about some things that might help you guys. I don't know. We'll we'll give her a try and see. Pretty hot down here today. Just got finished having breakfast a few minutes ago. Tell you something. I was watching YouTube and I come up on this breakfast recipe the other day, or last night actually, and I thought, well, I'll give that a try today. That way Mama wouldn't have to cook. I do cooking this morning. She's still working part time, and so I thought I'd give her a break, let her kind of rest this morning. Anyway, I cooked the breakfast recipe and everything, and I got to tell you something. I was thinking, I'll probably flop on it the first time, being I never have done it before. But I got to tell you, it turned out really good. So I'm going to be using that one again. But I came out this morning to do a video. I want to talk about decision making. We make small decisions in our life. Sometimes we have to make those things pretty fast, sometimes within a split second. And then we make long-term decisions that need to really be thought out. And long-term decisions usually are going to involve fairly sizable financial investments one way or the other. And I've made a lot of these over the years. When I was younger, I made some pretty bad ones. I made a few bad ones since then, but not as many. But anyway, I got thinking, well, maybe I could do a video and let everybody kind of know how I do this, see if it helps them some. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the process. What I do is I think about what I'm going to buy, and if it's a big financial decision that may take a while to pay off, if you have to borrow the money, or you use a lot of money that you have stuck back, which in my case is not usually very much ever. But anyway, I think about the process that I've learned to use to do that, and I'm not going to take credit for this process because we used this in the business that I worked for. I was a manager there, and this is where I learned it. But boy, I'll tell you what, when we used it, I don't know if we ever made a bad decision. Now, a few times we made some decisions without it, and I can think of one or two of those that turned out really bad, to the tune of over $250,000 at times. That's a lot of money. I don't make decisions in my life that involve that much money, but in that business we did. Made lots of decisions involving lots of money. But what I'm thinking about doing right now, and I'm going to run it through this process, is I'm trying to keep my old place cleaned up. And boy, I'll tell you, with a riding lawnmower and a weed eater and things like that, it's getting pretty hard to do. Beats my old lawnmower up because the old property's a little bit rough in some areas. And weed eating at my age, I tell you, I don't need to do much of that, especially this old hot weather we're having down here right now. So I've been thinking on maybe buying a tractor and a bush hog. Now for me, that's a fairly sizable investment. So I'm just looking at tractors now. Kind of wanted to know what the prices of them were, and then kind of think about whether I could do this or not. So here's the process that I'll go through, and I haven't gone through this process. I'm getting ready to go through it. First of all, I have to decide what it is I think I'm wanting to invest in. Of course, as we said, that's a tractor. Now, I usually like to write down 10 questions, and out beside each one of those questions, I will put a number from 1 to 10. And that starts giving me a numerical measurement to go by. A lot of times when people are making decisions, they just make them out of emotions. And I got to tell you, that's my estimate to that is about 80-90% of the time, those decisions are probably going to be wrong. You're going to wish a few months later you hadn't made them. So make a good logical decision on what you're doing, and here's the way we're going to do it. Now, the tractor and bush hog I'm thinking about, I have to ask myself first question: do I want it? Now you may think, well, that doesn't sound like a very good mathematical thing. It has a lot to do with many things you're going to do. If you want it, then you start thinking about why you want it. So my question would be, do I want it? Scale 1 to 10. Scale 1 to 10, I'm going to give it about a 6, and the reason I don't give it any higher than a 6 is I'd like to have one, but I also know there's upkeep to those things, keeping batteries on them, fuel in them, filters, changing oil, all those things. So I'm going to give it about a 6. Now, when you give it this number, you got to be honest. Be honest with yourself. And if you're not honest, if you're going to lie to yourself all the way through, this won't work for you. But be honest with yourself, and be willing to take the results as for what they really are. The next question would be, do I need one? And outside that, I'd give it, oh, I'd give it about a 5. I can make it without it, but, uh, you know, I'd like to have it, but I'm going to give it about a 5. I'm going to be honest about it. Next question would be, can I afford one? Well, we got to give that about a 5. I'm not made out of money, so I'd probably have to borrow the money to buy it. So then I got to make payments on it to get it paid back, and I'm not going to give it a 10 because I never know what's coming at me every day. So I'm going to give it about a 5. That's about medium ground there. And the next question, I guess, is, do I know exactly what I need? Well, I know exactly what I want. Then I also know exactly what I need, and they are two different things. So I'd say I'd give it an 8, that I know what I need. There's some things that I'm thinking about that I would like to have, but may not can afford. So give it about an 8. And I won't go through the whole process here, but usually I like to ask 10 questions. And in those 10 questions, if everything comes out to be a 10, that's going to be 100%. Well, what that means is, yeah, go ahead and do it. You can do it. You got every reason to do it. But I've never had it come out to that, and I doubt anybody will if they're honest. So when I look at this now, what I figure right now this would come out to if I did the 10 questions, I'm just guessing from experience. I'm guessing this thing's going to come out somewhere around about a 40. And 50 would be, it could go either way, 50-50. But I'm guessing it's going to come out about a 40. Now, I'm going to actually walk through this first before I make a decision to do it or not. But if it comes out at a 40, it's just too far below the threshold. I like for mine, when I measure them like that, I like for my score to come out to about a 70 to 80. And, 90 would be real good, be rare, but 70 to 80. And then you feel pretty good that you've done your due diligence and you've answered all the questions about whether you should go in this direction or not. And past experience, anytime we've done this, it's been a good decision. And like I said, I've made a few decisions without it, and I normally regret those. So I make it a pretty good habit. You can't to do it on a big item or a big decision. Now, on every little decision you make all day long, you can't stop and do the math on every single thing you do. I'm going to start here in a little while and work on some stuff. I'm going to make a lot of decisions as I go through. But I won't process them like that. But here's the thing, if you learn to process things like that, you'll just by nature make better decisions on the smaller things. Well, I want to talk about the score a little bit more because this is the important part. As I said, first of all, you got to be honest when you ask the questions. Ask the right questions. Give honest answers about the math on the thing. Don't doctor it up to suit yourself. I want it, so I'm gonna give everything a 10. Well, if you do, don't even use the thing because it's no good to you. Just be honest. And once it's all said and done, if it comes out in my case like I think it's going to be as 40, then I'm just going to exit off my list of things I'd like to do for right now. It doesn't mean that forever that I won't get to buy a tractor. It just means right now I can't. And if it comes out, like I said, 70, 80, or 90, probably just go ahead and do it. It's probably a good decision. My guess is it would be. But so many people make decisions on emotions, and we live in a world that actually promotes that. You see commercials on TV all the time. If you buy this jet ski, you'll be skinny, rich, and good looking, and everybody will like you. Well, life don't work that way, but that's kind of the way they portray it. They want to sell this stuff. But make good decisions. Take the time to make good decisions. Think about bad decisions when you make them, especially big decisions. You usually have to live with them for a long time. Say you go buy you a new big 4-wheel drive or a sports car, whatever it is you think you like, and you don't walk it through any process. It's just in your mind, I want it. That I want it's usually an emotional thing. And my buddy's got one, or people will look at me different if I've got one. That's not good decision making things right there. That'll come back and bite you. But once you've made that bad decision, say like you buy a new truck, probably the next 4 to 6 years, you got to pay for that bad decision. And as usual, it puts a lot of burden on you. Now, here's where the problem is with that. That burden hurts you psychologically. It hurts your family. You get to where you don't get along good with your wife, or whatever it may be. You may be the wife, but you don't get along with your spouse. Let's put it that way. And you get short with your kids because you're under so much pressure trying to make payments on this thing you shouldn't have ever bought. I'll tell you what, life ain't about stuff. I've been around nearly 70 years now, and I'm telling you, I've learned something, and I've bought some nice stuff. So I can say this. Nice stuff can put a burden on you that you don't need, and it'll hurt your family. And life is much better if you get up and you have peace. And maybe you take that money and you spend it on a vacation for your family or something like that. And usually what a new truck costs these days, you take your family on vacation several times, lots of times probably. But anyway, I know that's kind of a short video, and I'd really like to have a chart and wrote all this stuff down and just show you how it worked. May do that somewhere down the line, but this is just, I'm practicing my videos right now, so I just kind of put this together right quick. But having said that, I'm gonna get off here. I hope this helps somebody that's trying to make a big decision. And if it does, well, great, I've done good. Look, I love you guys. I'm spending the time to do this hoping I can give back into the world that's given so much to me. So, signing off, guys. Talk to you later.